constant. Everyone in the house played music, and you could just jam whenever you wanted at all hours of the day.
Right.
So it was a really creative time.
It must have been smelly.
Oh, for sure. It smelled like hate and just fear and poverty.
Booze, sweat,
cigarettes
unbathed.
Indoors, nonstop cigs blasting.
Yeah.
We had one toilet for 18 people.
Oh man.
We had one rule there because our
People
buddy
not washing their clothes.
No.
Yeah.
People loved this guy loved to get nude.
Yeah.
And this girl that lived there was like, I don't want you getting nude. So we had this big house meeting, and we came to this rule that you can be nude, but you can't sit down. You can't put your nude body on the furniture.
Oh, okay.
That's
where you drew the line?
That was right. Yeah, because she was like, look, I don't mind your body.
Yeah.
I just don't want you sitting on the chair where I eat breakfast. And we were like, fair point.
Squatter discussions.
Yeah. And our rent was like $120, and still I couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just started doing stand-up real hard.
That when was the first open mic? So this is where you were living? You were living in the DIY place?
No, so I started stand-up in like 2006, and I was a finalist in the Comedy Works contest in 2007, and it was my fourth time on stage.
Oh, really?
And then I moved to Ithaca and didn't do any stand-up.
Oh, I see. So you started, did a few open mics, entered the competition, and did well?
Yeah, everyone hated me because I was just like a natural.
So your fourth time up, you won?
No, I bombed.
Oh.
in the finals?
Yeah.
So it's three rounds. First round, crushed. Second round, crushed. Third round, totally ate my ass.
Because it was high pressure?
No, just because I wasn't a comic.
Oh.
I was a fraud.
Yeah.
I was a naturally funny fat guy that people were like, oh, we'll listen to him for 5 minutes.
You couldn't get away with it for 15?
I had to go first, too. It was 7 minutes.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, you just ate it, huh?
Yeah, and I was like yelling at the crowd.
Oh.
Yeah.
No chops?
No chops. Zero. I had improv chops, but those aren't good in a club
Where'd
atmosphere.
you get those?
I did improv at the Bovine Metropolis Theater in Denver. I did their entire 40-week thing and was on their house team and did their weekend shows and stuff.
What, the games?
Yeah, games and long form. I preferred long form.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you come out of that.
But like
so
Adam Clayton Holland, he hated me.
Adam Clayton Holland?
Yeah, he was like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
You don't want to be hated by that guy.
No, he didn't like me forever.
Because he's a dyed-in-the-wool stand-up, but he's also kind of smarty.
Yeah, he went to Wesleyan or something.
I don't think he liked me when he met me, and I think he was featuring for me.
Sounds like Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I did not get the good feelings from him.
Yeah, I went to his 30th birthday party, and I gave him a book.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
This book?
No, I knew he loved Jim Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
So I gave him, I think, The Killer Inside Me, and he was like, cool, and he threw it in the trash. And I was like, all right. Well,
wow.
Yeah.
That's dick move.
We're very good friends now.
Well, I think he's also a guy that got humbled and got nicer.
Well, yeah, he's had some personal tragedy.
Yeah, terrible.
But also even before that, he was sweet, you know?
Yeah. But he started out as a writer, a guy who wrote, didn't he write a column?
Yeah, in the Westward in Denver.
Yeah.
And I read it religiously as a kid.
Did you really?
Well, from 18 onward, I was like, this rules. I can't wait to meet this guy.
Yeah.
And I wrote him and his crew, Wrist Deep Productions, a sincere letter about how I really like your shows and I just want to work with you guys. And Ben Kronberg told me they made fun of it and put it on the wall. So I moved back to Denver and started doing stand-up real hard.
After the acid rock anarchy punk thing.
And I was still in bands and eating drugs and living in this house, but I was also out every night doing stand-up.
In Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So what were the options as a micer?
Well, I hosted the Lion's Lair and the Squire.
Lions Lair. I feel like I've been there. Have I?
I don't know. It's the punk rock bar in Denver.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you hosted a stand-up night there?
Yeah, I hosted Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and I got up every night of the week.
Oh, okay.
Someone told me, if you're not on stage, someone else is getting better than you. And I'm hyper-competitive.
Oh, which fucking animal told you that?
TJ Miller.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
That's why I didn't want to bring it up.
Well, I don't got it. It's okay.
He's like, anyway.
What?
TJ's got in trouble is all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to...
You're right. I don't even remember what it is. I know he had there's a woman problem, and then he had a brain problem, and then he
had an aneurysm in 2008.
Yeah,
and now he thinks he's dead. He thinks this is heaven and that he's dead.
Yeah, see, he wore me out.
Well, he was very generous and sweet to me
early on.
Yeah,
oh, that's nice.
And he was important to the kind of comedy that
he's a Chicago guy.
He's from Denver.
Oh, but didn't he come up in Chicago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he gave you a work ethic.
Well, he just told me you're not going to be as funny as other people if you take nights off.
Right.
So I got up. I think in 2011 I got up 335 nights that year.
Wow, you count them?
Yeah, well,
You
I
and
did
Delray.
back then.
Delray's still counting them.
That's weird. I don't count them anymore.
He still does.
But then sometimes people would say, I did a show every night of the year, and I'd just be furious in my room. Like, where'd you get up on Christmas?
Yeah.
Where'd you get up on Easter? What are you
fucking
talking
liar.
about? Yeah, you're lying.
You're exaggerating.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Rollins, he uses the same mic. Like, he knows exactly, like, he has mics that, he knows he's talked through for how many days he's used that mic.
Yeah.
He's like, it's magical shit, All right, so you're getting your hours in, and what do you just build up to what featuring?
No, I didn't want to do that. So I would go on the road, and I'd like go to New Orleans for a week and do every open mic, and then I'd just crush like fucking raising hell. And then people.
But how much time did you have? Were you cheating?
No, I had like a half hour. Cause
okay.
I was featuring at one-nighters, like terrible one-nighters.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't want that life of doing those one-nighters. And I also wanted to travel, and I didn't have any money. So I was like, I'll just go stay on this couch with this person I met in New Orleans or Boston or Austin. And
from the band days?
no, I mean, sometimes the band days, but also people come through Denver.
Right.
Comics.
Comics.
Yeah. And then once you start killing at these open mics, they're like, hey, if you're ever in town on Wednesday, I have a show that pays $50 and you can close it.
So you came up in the age of the comic produced show.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Like I do work some clubs, but I mostly work comic produced shows and, alt rooms and stuff.
Yeah, those weren't around when me and Billy Ray Schaefer were starting out.
I don't think he would care to do an alt room.
No, he wouldn't. He would be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
What do you mean we don't get paid?
He doesn't know what a podcast is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would just do these shows and, 45 weekends a year, just be somewhere, Omaha, Seattle, and make $300 a weekend and come home.
So that was the whole circuit. Wasn't a club circuit.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I remember that when I started flailing and losing any hope of doing comedy in some ways. I remember me and Andy Kindler and Eugene Merman went on a tour of these smaller rock venues, and it always felt weird to me. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Because I am essentially came up as a club comic.
Yeah.
My mistake was not understanding it was a business and that you had to be nice to club owners and you had to keep going back to the same places to build an audience. I never quite got that.
I got that, but I did it just the same way I learned from punk rock, which is you go and you play for 8 people, and then they bring a friend and you have 16, and the next time you might have 30, and then...
But you're a respected guy. People have good things to say about your comedy.
For sure,
I've watched it. It's funny.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I finally got JFL last year after auditioning 6 times, and man, did I have a chip on my shoulder up there, dude.
Did you?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, you were like, finally, fuck it, or what?
Yeah. Yeah, I was up there, and people would be like...
New faces?
Yeah, I was unrepped, new faces. And I'd meet managers and agents, and they'd be like, "We met in L.A. like 6 years ago when I was like like an assistant to an agent." It's like, "What are you doing up here as a new face?" And I'm like, "Motherfucker, I don't know.
Yeah,
all right, I should have been here 6 years ago."
Yeah,
I would just walk around to people, and I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Sam Tallent. Who are you with?" And they'd be like, "CIA," and I'd be like, "All right."
Yeah.
But then when they talk to you and they're like, "So what do you got? What are you working on?" And I say, "I have a novel."
Yeah,
they couldn't walk away faster.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they don't want a novel. They want to know you got a YouTube series. That's the thing about managers and agents, which I don't have, is that they want you to do all the work now, and then they'll just come in and swoop you up. And
they always do, dude. They, they don't, like, that's the big myth that they're like, I'm going to make you a star,
no
kid.
Way.
It's like they wait around. They'll keep you in the what do you,
the hip pocket.
Yeah, yeah, until, like, maybe something happens, and they're like, here we go.
Right.
Let's do it.
Look, I'm going to get you into Cap City comedy. And it's like, I already headline there.
I can do Cap City.
Yeah.
Like I know Rich Miller. I already know that guy.
Yeah. I remember at JFL, Pete Holmes was hosting, and he was like, "What kind of intro do you want?" And I was like, "Can you tell him I'm at Penguins in Cedar Rapids next weekend?"
Did he say I played there?
No, he laughed so hard, and he was like, "You're legit." And I was like, "Thank you, Pete Holmes."
Yeah, great. Pete Holmes validated you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And to go from Montreal, the issue was I was hanging out with too many Canadian comedians.
In Montreal?
I think that they thought I was Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they don't care.
I don't think that, I don't think it's weird that almost everybody up there is a known quantity already now.
Yeah.
And it's really just one of these sort of weeks of partying for people on that side of the business.
Yeah.
They don't really give a fuck, nor can they really do anything, really. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I had a legit agent most of my career. And, I finally fired my powerful manager when he played like one of the first WTFs, and it's like, I don't get it. I'm like, I can't, and I don't know, dude. It's like it's all, what am I trying to say? You figure out what you really want out of it, and then you got to just get it. No one's going to do anything for you. And you seem to know that.
I do know that. Now, after being closer to the industry, I know it 100%.
Well, when you started thinking about writing this book, though, how long ago was that?
My wife did her first 2 years of med school in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
In 2016.
Right.
And I wrote it when I was there over the course of like a year.
But, like, what experiences were you drawing from? Those one-nighters? I mean, primarily?
Yeah. And just
like,
all
who were the guys
stories.
you opened for? Because you mean the horror stories you had to listen to while you're driving fucking tired old headliners places?
Yeah. And then also just the horror stories that I would accumulate by doing these shows.
Yeah, like what are the ones you remember?
Well, like that duck shit bingo story from in that book.
Yeah.
That's happened. That was a 100% true story. I remember watching this big fat carny put his duck back in the cage, and I knew what I got paid, and he's just over there counting money, and I really wanted to slit his throat.
That was like when I was reading it, I'm like, this is one, there's no way.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way the duck shit bingo story can be true.
Happened, man.
Where did that happen?
Happened in Greeley, Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was the one I thought you made up.
No, dude, that was legit. All these shows I've done.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what fucking hit me, though, was the weird couple. Because I met that couple in Texas.
Yeah.
What is
Florida.
Yeah, Florida, Texas. The one I met was in San Antonio.
Yeah.
They both come up to you like, so what do you got going? I'm like, I'm not fucking your wife. I'm not.
That's what they want, too.
I know.
Every time.
I know. But
it's like, but you're hotter than me, dude. Why do you want to watch me plow your wife?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like when I read that, I'm like, this is like real. And I don't know why they pick comics. I don't know. Maybe they just, I don't know what it is.
I think they think that we're debauched.
We're debauched and broken.
And we're lonely.
And we'll probably be up for it.
Yeah.
We're like, it's almost predatory.
Yeah.
What's he going to be doing by himself?
And then they're like, don't put this in your act.
Yeah.
They're like licking their lips.
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry. I don't want anyone to know about this.
Yeah, and that poor guy, the poor fake guy, Billy Ray Schaefer, he's all fucked up, but he goes back and there's almost a moment there when he's fucking kicking that guy's ass. You're like, take it easy.
Yeah. This is uncalled for. This guy took you in and fed you top shelf gin.
Yeah.
He gave you his wife.
And he didn't even, I don't even think, like, it suggested, like, I don't know how you see it, but they didn't roll him. He left it there.
He left his wallet.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, definitely. But I've also been the guy who has his wallet and he lost it, and then you're just homicidal until you remember that you left it at your friend's house.
Yeah. But just all the, like, his, yeah, man, like, when I read it, I really think that not enough can be said about the world of comedy it captures. Because if you're in it, like you were in it, and like I was in it, and like Stanhope was in it, guys who came up my generation, guys you opened for, and some of the experiences you had, I mean, this is what fucking comedy looks like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what it was. When, there were all those guys out there in the 80s where you're like, I don't know what happened to that guy. I don't know, and guys like Frankie Bastille, who you've heard me talk about, he was like one of these guys. There were literally guys on the road that Frankie Bastille did not want his name in the paper or on the marquee because he owed back taxes and he owed spouse, child support.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to be known where he was. And that's crazy. And he's a comic.
Yeah.
He's on stage publicly.
Right.
He's the guy that got nailed when somebody heard him on a radio show. The IRS went and got him because he was on a morning radio show.
Yeah.
Or an ex-wife. I can't remember which. But this whole world of road comedy and what it kind of became. And this is a guy who did The Tonight Show with all the promise in the world. And I like the ex-con trip. I mean, I like the fact that he was in jail. I think that's one of those things where it really rang true to me, like when when you hear about a comic, like, oh, you don't know about that guy? Yeah, what about, he's in fucking jail, man. And then he started doing comedy in jail, like, no shit.
It's like Joey Diaz.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he do time?
Oh, yeah. For, like, kidnapping.
I must have talked to him about that. I can't quite remember. Right.
And he was in Denver.
No, I know. It's all his whole story's in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
All the cocaine stories.
I always loved the fact that you were surrounded by like freaks and scumbags and mutants and pirates.
That's what people don't get about that era of comedy. It's not just like people who didn't fit in or nerds or, just social oddballs. Some of these dudes were fucking criminals,
They couldn't do anything else.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
And it was like people who get into preaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's either that or prison. What's your fucking hustle? Like so many of these guys were just doing it to live. Mm-hmm. And they figured it out.
And it's a romantic lifestyle. You're somewhere every night, somewhere new.
Is it, though?
I really find the romance in stand-up.
It took me